So I'm very pleased to be here on My Magical Thing with Julie Belham-Payne, co-founder and trustee of the Centre for Pagan Studies and the Doreen Valiente Foundation, blogger, midwife and practicing witch. Julie, it's lovely to have you here.
Thank you, Julian, and it's lovely to be here too. It's a pleasure to show you my magical thing, although I've got quite a few. When I was thinking about this, I was looking around and I decided that there are so many things that belong to John Belham-Payne, the co-founder of the Centre for Pagan Studies, that really it was his magic that infused into me. And so I think John Belham-Payne is my magical thing, but I'll tell you a story about his robe, which is behind me. I'll move it a bit forward.
Got it, thank you.
In 1993, or maybe before, we met in 1988, and John told me he was a witch, and he was going to go for his initiation, and of course I wasn't invited because I'm not an initiate. Well, I wasn't at that time, and I said, "Can I do something for you?" And I love sewing, so I made this robe for him to go to the initiation with. I know they probably did it sky-clad, but at least he had a robe to make it into a ceremony. I made it quite basic. I made it with quite a ceremonial look to it. It's got gold braid around there, around the neck is gold braid, and it's got little badges there with a mooning star, and then the gold braid round the hem. It's got a lot of wax stains on it, wax spills.
As is traditional with these things, in my experience.
Yes, so he must have used it. On the back is this, and I had fun with my mathematical thing, making a perfect 5-pointed star. So that's on the back, and it's got buttons in the neck. Although I couldn't really find a hood, but I think the buttons exist there with the intention of adding a hood maybe later on. So that's John's robe. And then I was wondering, which date was all this going on? And I was looking through the books that on the bookshelf, and I found this book, which is nothing to do with paganism or witchcraft, just that John was, that was his interest. He loved Henry VIII and all things Tudor. So inside is an inscription which tells us that Beltane 1993 was the date of his ritual, and this book was given by one of the coven members as a gift for his initiation.
Oh, super. That's lovely.
Yes, it's beautiful. And they gave a card as well with the same inscription in it. And I think they use their coven names, but I think I know who they are. And of course, John's name was Bacchus. So that was in 1993. Then I looked a bit, sorry, I've dropped some. I looked a bit further and I found several kind of books, what I think are books of shadows, which obviously I wouldn't really want to show the inside of them, but John made them quite beautiful with beautiful pictures and paintings.
Oh, lovely.
Yes, he loved art. He was good at art. There's another one here, which is quite blank. It hasn't got any pictures in it. It's one that he was starting, I think. It's got, no, it's not. No, sorry, I thought that one had ABC in it, but it didn't. So those are all around John's magical workings. He was initiated, first of all, in the 70s by some Welsh witches called the Edwards. And they weren't Gardnerian or Alexandrian or Wiccan. It was good old-fashioned witchcraft. And he was often telling people about that. He had a good grounding, and it took him, he laughs about a year and a day, because it took him about 5 years to finally get initiated. So, but it happened in the end. And then I think this other one with the robe and the inscriptions, that must have been a second initiation. So that was good. And then, of course, there was the one with Doreen Valiente, and she gave him this, which can be verified. She wears it in some photos online, and that's what she gave him when they got together later on and did their magical work just before she died. What else?
Julie, that's a lovely collection of things, and that's a real lovely opportunity to connect back to the work that John did and the work that Doreen did, and that's a really touching and lovely thing for you to be able to share with us. Thank you very much for doing that. That's really, really appreciated. It's lovely to be able to see the robe and to be able to see those gifts that the coven provided to John. I think that's often something that people kind of forget. They forget, you know, the whole ritual and the process of initiation. Yes. But there's also just the simple humanity of welcoming someone into a community and celebrating that with a card, with a book, with an inscription. Yes. Can we have another look at that little piece of magical jewelry? Was that possible? Could you hold the pentagram up one more time?
Yes.
So this is from Doreen.
Yes,
to John.
By the, well, I shouldn't really show it, but you can tell by the top, it's because this is quite standard, but it's the top that you can see online in photos of Doreen wearing. You can tell it's the same one. It's verified.
Julie Belham-Payne, thank you so much for showing those magical things, and thank you very much for keeping that history, the archives, and all the work that you do for the work that John did, and indeed the work that Doreen Valiente did as well. It's really appreciated, my friend. Thank you so much for taking the time to share those magical things with us.
Thank you, Julian. Have a lovely day.
Yeah, and you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.